How to do parallel dips the right way. For many of you who are starting out calisthenics, we both know that parallel dips is an essential, it's a fundamental exercise that's not only going to help you to build up vertical pushing strength, but also develop the muscles in your triceps, in your front shoulders, and in your chest. So I'm going to show you how to do that step by step. And if you're unsure with structuring your training, head over to the link down below to learn more about online coaching. Anyways, let's get into it. So the parallel dips, the setup is very simple, right? If you've got a pair of dip bars at home, I suggest you actually bring the dip bar just slightly a little bit closer here, okay? Because if it's too wide, right? Now the tension is not gonna be on your triceps and your chest and your front shoulders as much, and it's gonna cause you to flare your elbows out, right? If your grip is too wide. When you flare it out, it's gonna irritate your rotator cuff. So you wanna think, okay, how can I set up the bar in a way where my hands are literally beneath my torso, not too wide. So if I'm using this example, this is pretty much beside my torso. But if you're someone who has a smaller frame and a shorter arm, you may have to bring it in slightly, a little bit more in front like this. And what's great about calisthenics is if you are at home, you can do this with chairs too. Just bring them together and perform dips. Ta-da! Anyways, let's get into it. The first technique cue is to get into a dip position, hand by your torso, push tall, and then pushing your shoulders down away from your ears. Boom, like that. The only reason we do this is to not put any unnecessary strain on your traps and in your neck. Because a lot of people, especially beginners who have no idea what they're doing with calisthenics and end up getting injured along the line, or worse, keep getting headache from all this tension, they do dips like this. So when we get into a dip position, put your shoulders down away from your ears and also your feet. Keep your feet and your knees glued together. You can bend your legs if your setup doesn't have enough space at the bottom for you to go all the way down, but bend your knees, feet and knees together. Now, what a lot of people do is when they get into the dip, they like to cross their legs and then do the dips. And what I found with this, based on competing over 5 calisthenics competition, few of them being national level, we get disqualified if we cross our legs whenever we're doing pull-ups, dips, or even push-up. And what you're gonna realize is that if you cross your legs, when you get towards the end of the round, where you're in your last 2 reps, when you get fatigued, you're gonna have a muscular imbalance. You're gonna have a tendency to push more with your dominant side, which will lead to muscular imbalances. So that's why it's very important that number one, you keep your feet and your knees together, okay? Do not let it dangle about and you lock it in. Do not cross your legs, okay? Very, very important fundamental. Right, so the dip motion, how does this work? When we do the dip, we wanna lean forward enough so that way our elbows are stacked directly on top of our wrist. The reason for this is going to put our arms in an optimal position where our triceps, our front shoulders, and also our chest are going to be actively engaged. So this is what a good form will look like. I'm going to show you 5 reps. Okay, lean. 1, elbows stacked on top of my wrist. 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice those reps there. Elbows are always stacked on top of my wrist, even when I'm getting down low, and also my feet and my knees are together. They are not crossed. So that's very important. Whereas if this is the bad form, I'm going to show you what bad form look like. See, my elbows are behind my wrist. And what that does is puts a lot more emphasis on the triceps and not so much on the shoulders. We want to target the shoulders too, so that way all the muscles are aligned, and it's going to help you with your push-ups, with your planche progression, and also your handstand progression, so if you learn how to activate these muscles properly. So what I suggest is you record yourself when you try to do parallel dips and see, okay, am I coming down low enough where my elbows are stacked on top of my wrist? And you can compare it with my form. And coming on to the next cue is when you come down, where do you stop? Again, it's very important that you record yourself. Even better, have a coach to correct you, so that way you're not making any unnecessary mistakes, make bad habits, and potentially get injured and put out for months down the line, okay? So when we do the dip, lower down until our triceps
are parallel to the ground. Or your elbows are at 90 degrees angle, like that, okay? The reason for that is it's gonna create a full range of motion, meaning that your muscles, your chest, your triceps, your front shoulders, are gonna be activated throughout the entire range. The larger the range of motion, the more muscles are gonna be activated, therefore stimulating more growth and also more endurance, okay? Some people like to go and do the dips down low, like where their shoulders drop, like this. That's fine. I think it's unnecessary, right? In calisthenics competitions, you only need to come down until parallel. So no need to go down lower. And what I've realized from coaching over 350 students over the last 3 years, if you go too low and your shoulders are not ready for it, you're gonna get injured, especially in your rotator cuff. So it's very important that you stop at the parallel line. Boom, boom, okay? So that's that. The next cue is elbow positioning, right? As we mentioned before, a lot of people like to flare out the elbow. So when they do the dips, look, the elbows go flare out wide. And even doing this motion, I'm feeling the irritation in my rotator cuffs. So what you wanna think is when we do the dips, you wanna think about doing the dip and then tucking the elbows in, close to your torso. When you flare out, all the pressure will go to your rotator cuff muscles, and we don't want that. We want to keep it in our triceps and distribute it evenly to your front shoulders and your chest. So think tuck in, boom, knees together, feet are not crossed, core tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. And I'm going to come down to the next point, which is breathing. A lot of people don't like to breathe when they exercise. They don't know how to breathe. And what this will do is it will cause them to get gassed out. They're gonna get too tired, too fatigued, and then not be able to do as many reps as they could if they were to breathe properly. So a rule I always set for myself is, breathe, is as you come down, you inhale through your nose. So the eccentric, you inhale through your nose. And then when you push up, you exhale. Okay, inhale, exhale, throughout the entire duration. This will allow you to be able to squeeze out 3 to 5 more reps when you get fatigued. And also if you're doing weighted dips, you'll be able to push more numbers, right? So for example, the Olympic deadlifters, before they would do the deadlift, they would do a big inhale. They'll go down, and then before they're about to, as they're about to come up, they exhale, right? To exert force. We're gonna borrow that, okay? So I'm gonna apply this and show you. So inhale as I come down through my nose, exhale out of my mouth. See that? Much more efficient with it. And that's gonna take your strength to the next level. And the final bonus that I'm gonna be showing you is called the protraction. We can take our dip strength to the next level by protracting our shoulder blades. And this is gonna help us with our planche, with a handstand, and with overall pushing strength. So protraction is where you round your back. So you suck your chest back, pull your shoulder blades away from each other whilst keeping your shoulders depressed, pushed down, okay? So get into a dip position, protract, suck your chest in, hollow body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I've just done there was called protracted dips. I'm keeping this hollow body throughout, and I can feel that a lot in my core, more so in the upper abs and also the serratus anterior. Do this well, and other calisthenics exercises are gonna feel so much more easier for you. This is what you gotta understand. Calisthenics exercises, they connect. If one exercise gets better, it's gonna have a positive impact on other exercises. So that's why you need the right knowledge in order to combine the right exercise combination within your routine in order to make faster progress, because we realize that if you do the wrong combinations, you're gonna get confused, overwhelmed, potentially make bad habits and actually get injured. So that's why when people join a training program where they get one-to-one assistance, they get that feedback, they're able to bypass their limitations, mistakes, and achieve their goals 2 to 3 times the amount of speed. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you found value from this. If you do, give us a thumbs up and press the subscribe button so that way you can come back for more video like this one. And if you'd like to work with us one-to-one, where we coach you step by step, head over to the link down below in the description to learn more about online coaching. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next video.